welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, the Southwest Witch, and today is pretty exciting because we're going to be kicking off the second series for my channel, Witchy Wednesdays. Now, if you watched my previous video, you kind of got a tiny rundown of what this series is going to be, and if you didn't get a chance to do that yet, I highly suggest you check it out here for a fun, spooky story and also a cute makeup look. But for those of you returning and those of you who are here with me for the first time, Witchy Wednesdays are going to be monthly Wednesday videos where I will be covering a variety of witchy topics. It could be a how-to, an intro to something witchy. Some days I might discuss an important historical witch. Either way, it's going to be a lot of witch-centered magical fun. Okay, so now that we're all caught up on what the series is going to be, let's get into today's video. For the first episode in this series, I wanted to start off with the most common question, or questions, I guess, that I get when people find out for the first time that I'm a witch. What exactly is a witch? I also get all of the usual kind of cliche questions that go along with this. Do you have a pointy hat? What? Do you have a magic broom? No. Do you own a crystal ball? Yes. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? Depends on my mood. Just kidding. And of course there's always the classic. So you some kind of a devil worshiper? I mean, I'm not. A lot of us aren't. But some of us are. Also, as Mystic Dylan, one of my favorite witches of all time, puts it, hey, don't give the devil credit for my work. But while all of these are kind of fun cliches about witches, most of them don't really have anything to do with witches in real life. Okay, so explain already. Well, to put it in the most simplified terms possible, a witch is a person who practices and believes in the natural, mystical, and/or spiritual aspects of the art of witchcraft and magic. And I think before we can go any deeper than that into witches specifically, we should first take a look at what witchcraft and magic are and also what they aren't. Now, defining a concept as broad and ancient as magic can be a little tricky. It's been around since basically the beginning of all of history, and it also has roots in pretty much every culture on all of Earth. So, of course, it's picked up a few slightly differing definitions along the way. But I've been a studying and practicing witch for about 5 years now, and the main concept that has shown up consistently no matter what tradition I was learning about is that at its core, magic is the science, stay with me now, and art of manipulating energies either from the human body, natural objects, spiritual or divine energies, or any combination of these to consciously manifest changes around us in conformity with our will. You guys still with me? Good. Now, as far as the science of magic, for me personally, I like to explain it to people like this. Everything in the universe is matter, right? Matter is basically just a bunch of atoms vibrating together in a particular way that makes a thing that thing. These tiny vibrations create energy. Different materials or objects have their own atomic arrangement that creates a special vibrational frequency that's specific to that thing. Some vibrational frequencies we can hear and observe as sound or sound waves, and just like how different sound frequencies can either enhance or cancel each other out, we can use combinations of different energy frequencies within ourselves and also in the tools and ingredients that we use in our craft to either enhance or cancel things out in the world around us. Now, the combination of knowledge and skills, the craft, if you will, that allows one to manipulate reality in these ways is what we refer to in the modern day as witchcraft. So, not exactly the Wingardium Leviosa, fly on a broomstick through the night, turn people into toads kind of magic, but it's still pretty cool. And I think that's as detailed of an explanation as I can give on that without making this an hour-long video. So now that we kind of have a basic understanding of how magic works and what witchcraft is, let's get back to the witches. So the idea of witches and what they are and what they do varies a lot by religion, culture, and even time period in history. Early European witches, for example, were seen as people who had the ability to cause change or harm either through thought alone, which is super cool, or coupled with charms, incantations, and rituals. Those that used these abilities in a positive way were historically referred to as the cunning folk. In a lot of indigenous cultures, witches were often seen as the healers of their community and were sought out for spiritual and sometimes even medical advice or healing. However, with the rise of Christianity, particularly in the Middle Ages, witches began to be associated with heresy against the church and were believed to be voluntary recruits of the devil. On a side note, one thing that I found really funny about the views from this time period was that it was also thought that witches were often gifted pet demons that were supposed to help them wreak havoc on the followers of the church. I didn't get a pet demon. Unfortunately, a lot of this negative stigma around witches still continues on today, mostly fueled by a fear of the unknown. Well, today there's still so much diversity among witches. For example, some witches observe their practice in the context of a religion. Some witches might belong to one of the many pagan religions, and some might even belong to one of the Abrahamic religions. PSA: no, not all witches are Wiccans, and not all Wiccans are witches. They are separate things. Wicca is its own whole religion. And there's also many witches that claim no religion at all. We call these secular witches. Some witches follow traditions that have been passed down through many, many generations and are known as hereditary witches, while others decide to become witches and build their craft from scratch. Some people might choose or are sometimes given a witch name, which they're then known by in the witch community. I, for example, chose Sparrow years ago as my witch name. Some witches also practice in groups called covens or circles, while others, like me, practice alone and are known as solitary witches. Now, you can also break up the witch community even further by type, kind of like a specialty, if you will. Today, I'm going to cover just a couple of the most common types of witches, because trust me, there are so many. Okay, let's start with eclectic witches, which is the category that I usually put myself in. Basically, we take inspiration from all kinds of witchcraft traditions to make our own kind of special blend of magic. This path can be really good for people who either aren't exactly sure what kind of witchcraft they want to practice yet, or, like me, just love too many different kinds of witchcraft to pick just one. Next, we have green witches, one of the most popular types of witches out there. These witches tend to work mainly with trees, herbs, plants, and flowers in their craft. They love spending time outdoors and in nature, and usually have some kind of garden, if they can, that they love to tend to. I actually know a couple of green witches, and their gardens are so lush and beautiful, and they talk to their plants every day, and they're lovely. Then we have sea witches. And no, they don't have giant octopus bodies, and their magic looks less like this and more like this. These witches practice water-based magic using things like shells, beach sand, seaweed, or bones in their craft. They also love being out by plants and any kind of body of water, and are usually especially attuned to the moon's cycles. Another common type of witch is divination witches. Divination is the practice of seeking knowledge through intuitive or sometimes supernatural means, and can take so many different forms. Witches that specialize in this area can be skilled in any number of methods, such as tarot, reading runes, bone throwing, super cool, fire, water, or crystal scrying, ceromancy, which is candle wax reading. The list goes on basically forever. These witches are also usually really great at grounding and meditating, and while some are said to be born with various types of psychic abilities, you do not have to be born with that kind of gift to be a divination witch. Next on our list, we have cosmic, celestial, or lunar witches. The name can differ depending on the specific type of celestial body that that particular witch works with. Basically, these witches utilize planetary and celestial energies, like from the sun or from the moon, to boost their magic. Usually, these witches are super knowledgeable about things like astronomy and astrology, which they can also sometimes use as a form of divination. These witches also sometimes practice astral travel. Side note, astral travel is actually what started the rumor that witches could fly. Historical witches literally be tripping. Planetary alignments, lunar cycles, days of the week, even specific hours of the day can play a huge part in their craft. The last type of witch that we're going to talk about today is crystal witches. These witches take the love that all of us have for crystals to a whole new level. They love collecting crystals, rocks, and gemstones to use in their magic for things like crystal healing, energy work like in Reiki or chakra balancing, and sometimes divination like crystal gazing. Now, like I said, these are just a few of the most common types of witches, but if y'all would be interested in me making another video on even more types of witches, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I think one thing that any witch will tell you is that every witch's experience with and practice of witchcraft is completely unique. No two witches are exactly the same. And one important thing that I'd like to add is that while owning 1,000 crystals and a custom tarot deck or any kind of fancy magical tool is fun and can add to your vibe or even help set the mood when you're casting, those aren't the things that make a person a witch. Your belief and practice of your skills do that for you. You could honestly work magic with a pen and paper, use regular kitchen salt, tea lights, or even use the corresponding colors in birthday candles. I mean, come on, witches in the old days had to forage or make their own tools and ingredients, and they usually had to do it in secret. No flashy tarot decks or giant crystal grids, just pure focused energy. At the end of the day, like 90% of the power in magic comes from your own energy and intent. The rest is all just added booster energy from the ingredients or the tools that you use, whatever deities or spirits you might work with, or honestly just the energy that you pull from the universe or just the earth itself. The stronger your intent and ability to work with energy is, the more powerful your magic will be. It's actually why a lot of witches don't really believe in the whole good magic versus bad magic thing, because to a lot of witches, myself included, magic itself can't really be good or bad because it's just energy. But that energy can be colored by the intent of whatever witch is behind it. Well, that was a fun little delve into the world of witches, huh? I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really loved getting to share a piece of myself with y'all. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you had a magical time. A huge thanks to my subscribers as well for all of the support that they've given me so far. It truly means a lot. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe for more fun witchy content. And be sure to check out my other videos for fun, spooky stories. Also, go ahead and comment down below if there's some things y'all would like to see me cover in future Witchy Wednesdays. Thank y'all again for watching, and until next time, merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again. Bye. Is it on? Cool. Ooh. Be happy. Oh my god.